Hello, this is Iron Defense Dale, and this is the Day 2 recap of the WTDL Season 5 draft, and it's almost over, as if I can get this scrolled over, it is almost over. We have a couple more picks here. You may notice that there's a stray one here. That's because I can't get sniped right now, and so I'm putting it in. A little surprise there. So I will be going over the tier list again, and then I will be seeing if I can compare them, and we'll see how they look. Um, we're gonna start out um with the Manchester Bewares. That is Nerdy's team. Ursaluna, DDF, Scrafty, Braviary, Toracat, Hatcherine, Araquanid, Hitmonlee, Copperaja, Raichu and Hydrapple. 11 out of the 12 picks have been picked. Still needs one more. Same thing goes yesterday. You have the Ursaluna with the Indeedee. Ton of Fake Out, a ton of Intimidate. You have a Psy Spam user in Raichu for the cheap. You have an Unburden user in Hitmonlee. You have a Trick Room user in Araquanid and Hydrapple. It's all three of the modes: Trick Room, Psy Spam, and just like Fake Out. Even Tailwind with Braviary. Like all of them are viable, and that's really scary. Especially when Ursaluna's in the fray. It's a tough Pokemon to take down. I think I still want it to be in the S tier. I think it's that good. It's one of those teams that not a lot of other teams have good matchups into. They just have to hope to nuke one thing and then hope that was the right thing to nuke. Next, we have the Burnt Corn Blazikins. That's 616's team. That's Metagross, Grimmsnarl, Sinistcha, Kommo-o, Moltres, Sceptile, Blastoise, Bellibolt, Greedent, Frosmoth, and Oranguru. So what do I think about this? I think Metagross finally got its Bulldozer in Sceptile. It can do the weakness policy stuff. You got Sinistcha and Kommo-o. You got screens for both Kommo and Metagross. You have Moltres as a defensive piece and just something to click big heat waves. Blastoise gets Fake Out and Encore, some good stuff there. Bellibolt, Greedent, Frosmoth, and Oranguru I'm not as strong on. I'm not as strong on them because Oranguru especially, I mean you could do like weakness policy stuff and then instruct an Earthquake next to a Telepathy Oranguru. But outside of that, I don't see Oranguru getting a lot of usage here. Same with Frosmoth, Greedent, and Bellibolt. It's a good team. Don't get me wrong, it's a good team. I don't think it's that team. I think it's whelming because it has some good stuff on it, but it isn't like in the same stratosphere as something that like Nerdy's team where anything could come to a battle and you got to prep for it all. Next we have Adelov's Baltimore Bullet Punch, Torkoal, Walking Wake, Lilligant Hisui, Florges, Kilowattrel, Paldean Tauros Combat, Jumpluff, Arbok, Skarmory, Pyroar, and Mamoswine. So there's still one pick to be taken here, and it's a tier 3. So this could be significant that isn't on this list here. What I do know is this is still a Sun team that has Walking Wake, Torkoal, Lilligant, Hisui, and it has competitive Kilowattrel. I was corrected on that. Today. Competitive Kilowattrel to prevent Snarl stuff into those 3 Pokemon. I like it. Or Intimidate into Lilligant Hisui. I like it. And then his own Intimidate in Paldean Tauros Combat. Tailwind and Jumpluff, that kind of thing. And then pieces like Arbok that still has utility in Tailwind. Pyroar is just a fast fire type in Tier 4. Mamo gets thick fat and offers a nice backbone. I like this team. I think it is very, very scary, especially just within those top picks. And because of that, I am going to put it in the S tier. I think it is that frightening. I really do. Then we have the Heatrans, the Miami Heatrans, Amon-Ray's team, Fluttermane, Ninetales, Raging Bolt, Lilligant, Cinderace, Slitherwing, Typhlosion, Fletchinder, Squawkabilly, Dugtrio, Morgrem. This team is so flimsy outside of Raging Bolt and maybe bulky Fluttermane. It is so flimsy. It just, so many things just get beat by ground types, and Slitherwing has a vulnerability to flying type. I mean, it's good. Slitherwing might be something sneaky to get KOs, but it's tier 3 for a reason. And Raging Bolt and Fluttermane are going to be the primary damage dealers. I don't think it's S tier, just because it's so flimsy, but it's so hyper offensive. You know it's just going to come and punch you in the mouth. And it's going to hurt pretty bad. And because of that, I'm going to put it in overwhelming. I would have built it differently, but that doesn't mean it can't work. I think it's overwhelming. Next, we have the Snorlaxes. The, I don't remember what city they are. Altix's team, Snorlaxes. Ninetales, Alola, Arcanine, Tinglu, Bronzong, Snorlax, Bisharp, Wigglytuff, Misdreavus, Braviary, Hisui, Arboliva, and Baxcalibur taken late. High tier pick being taken late. That's your Snow Abuser with Alolan Ninetales is Baxcalibur. And you have Bisharp, Wigglytuff, and I believe Braviary, Hisui all having Defiant or Competitive to dissuade stat drops for Bax, so you don't have to feel like you have to run Clear Amulet. That's pretty nice. And I like that a lot for Bax. Bax is going to be the primary kill getter, and then you might have things that can get a Defiant boost coming in and doing some stuff. It's mostly going to flow through Baxcalibur, so if you stop Baxcalibur, you really halt the offense. Because of that, it's kind of like a one-trick team. There's a definitive, this is going to get the KOs. I'm going to put in underwhelming still, but it's certainly an improvement from where it was last time. Next, we have the Detroit Luxrays. That's Fiasco's team. Fiasco drafted Whimsicott, Gyarados, Annihilate, Vivillon, Moltres Galar, Salazzle, Cleavor, Luxray, Cyclizar, Smeargle, Sneasel, Hisui, and Altaria. And between all those late picks, you know, Smeargle has utility, Cyclizar has Shed Tail, Sneasel Hisui is fast fake out with coaching, Altaria is a weather stopper on a team that doesn't have its own weather. You have redirection for Moltres Galar, you have Tailwind for Annihilate, Beat Up for Annihilate. There's the top 6 picks work really well together. Yeah, I would say actually even top 7 picks work really well together. And then the late 5 picks all provide a role that in a pinch can substitute in for those 7. And I think that's a good way to draft. It's sound drafting, and it doesn't have the it factor, it doesn't have the pop necessarily that a lot of teams do. But that doesn't really matter to me in this team. I don't care if it doesn't have the big pop that some of these other teams have. I still think it's good. I'm going to put it in overwhelming above the Heatrans. Let's see. Yeah, I'll put it above the Heatrans because I think it's that good, even without the pop factor. Next, I'm going to do the Raging Roarers. Raging Roarers is JBX's team. Urshifu Rapid, Politoed, Ludicolo, Comfey, Salamence, Crocodile, Pachirisu, Berserker, Caesar, Masquerain, Ampharos, and Haunter. So it's a rain team with Urshifu. Has Ludicolo, has Salamence for some stuff. Has Redirection for the electric types and Pachirisu. has Fake Out and Berserker. Berserker's no slouch. Caesar also gets boosted by Berserker. That could be a scary combination. Masquerain offers Intimidate, albeit a weak one. Ampharos is sneaky good in Tier 4, and Haunter is also sneaky good in Tier 4. It's just damage. It's fast, slap a sash on it and let it go. So I'm really satisfied with this draft, but it similar to Fiasco, it doesn't have the pop. Urshifu Rapid Strike has never performed well in this draft league, and I'm hoping it does do well, but I'm not sold on it just yet. I think it's a whelming team. I think it's truly just okay. Now, is it better than the Burnt Corn Blazekins? No, it is not. I don't think it is. It's just whelming. It's just a good, just okay team. Next, we have the Roaring Pelipers from Yida. I believe it's either Roaring Pelipers or Pouring Pelipers. No, there was a mistake. I wonder what it is. We'll never know here. Let's just go with Roaring Pelipers because it's funny. But we have Mousehold, Sandy Shocks, Spathra, Paldean Tauros, Aqua. We have Meowscarada, Ogerpon, Hearthflame, the big pick, round 6. Tinkaton, Ditto, Bombardier, Primeape, and Palossand with 1 pick remaining. That Ogerpon Hearthflame gives this team an identity. Really does. It's no longer this, what is this team? It's Ogerpon Hearthflame. That's the team. You got redirection for it. You got some shenanigans with Sandy Shocks and a Spathra with it. You get Intimidate for it. Actually, there is a slight error here because Meowscarada got traded for Amoonguss. So Meowscarada is actually Amoonguss now. It's actually Amoonguss. And this other team, Score's team, no longer has Amoonguss. Has Meowscarada. I'm just noticing that. And that was because they did an in-draft trade. So Amoonguss is there now, next to Ogerpon Hearthflame. Ogerpon Hearthflame can just pop off. It's a great Pokemon. It's wonderful in every way. So I think this team went from being a D-tier team that I really didn't like, truly didn't like, to being an overwhelming team. Now, is it better than the Luxrays? I don't like it more than the Luxrays. Is it better than the Heatrans? I think it is not better than the Heatrans, but it's still overwhelming. It's better than the Blazekins, better than the Roars for sure. So that's where it'll sit in the overwhelming category. Next, we have the Pollen Puffs, Pixies team. We have Ogerpon Water. We have, or Ogerpon Wellspring rather. Arcanine Hisui, Iron Treads, Latias, Ribombee, Persian Alola, Raichu, Honchkrow, Granbull, Frozlass, and Phalanx. So Ogerpon Water has Intimidate. It has a Dragon type. It has Tailwind. It has a decent Paradox to get a boost from. Ribombee can set Tailwind and Disrupt. Persian Alola has sneaky good Snarl stuff. Raichu can redirect Electric types for it. Honchkrow is basically Urshifu Single Strike except a bird with Super Luck and Night Slash. Basically is a Wicked Blow. Granbull's Intimidate, Phalanx's Define, and Frozlass is just nice disruption with Destiny Bond and Will-O-Wisp. So I like this team. It has, Ogerpon Wellspring. Ogerpon Wellspring is awesome pick. It's got some just good all-around pieces, just a good stuff team. And I think it's whelming. I think overall it is whelming still, and it is whelming in the way that that it is not better than the Raging Roars with Urshifu. It can do some stuff, but I don't know if it's the answer. Like, I don't know if it'll be able to overwhelm some of these other teams with its offense. Next, we have the Blackpool Roses. Pelipper, Archludon, Overquill, Thundurus T, Mimikyu, Meowscarada, Wazamungus traded, Infernape, Clodsire, Orthworm, Slowking, Beartick, and Rampardos. This is just a solid rain team in the first 4 picks. And then you get Trick Room mode with Mimikyu, some fast pieces, and with that Trick Room mode, you get Rampardos, a Pokemon with 165 attack, just a monster if it can get an attack off. But it will get dropped to a sneeze, so you have to be careful with it. But if it gets attacks off, it'll chunk pretty bad. I really like it, mostly because of the first 4 picks. And then the rest are just pieces that can slide in as needed. Infernape, Meowscarada. I definitely like the Meowscarada pick. I think Orthworm is decent. I don't know how many of these lower tier picks are going to get usage, but I think that the top 6 that get brought most of the time: Pelipper, Archaludon, Overquill, Thundurus, Mimikyu, and Orthworm. I think those are the picks. Or Meowscarada and Orthworm. I think those are the picks that get brought. I don't know if Mimikyu gets brought a lot. I don't know if Infernape gets brought a lot. But I do know that Orthworm's really good to protect some of those picks against ground-type moves, so that Pelipper doesn't have to swap in and take a hit, potentially. I don't remember where I had this, but I'm going to put it in Whelming above the Pollen Puffs. Yeah, I think I like that. It's got some stuff going for it. The Pelipper Archludon, Overquill Thundurus T is really good, but it just doesn't have that same thing to it. It factor. And maybe I'm getting bit again because I believed that last season I rated Score's team as being one of the worst, and it turned out it made playoffs. So this could come back to bite me, saying it's whelming. It could be really good in practice, and I'm just underrating it. But right now it's going to stay in whelming, and that's fine. Then we have the Toronto Typhlosions, JKG's team: Tornadus, Great Tusk, Typhlosion Asui, Hydreigon, Klefki, Furret, Scovillain, Quaquaval, Mabostiff, Espeon, and Shift Tree with 1 pick remaining. Great Tailwind, Great Sun mode. It doesn't need anything else. It's just going to hit you. If it doesn't have Sun and it wants Tailwind, it has Quaquaval. Quaquaval has shown that it can snowball really fast with Moxie, and that's dangerous to really face. So I'm curious on how much some of these lower tier picks get used when you have such an amazing, first 5 with Tornadus, Great Tusk, Typhlosion, Asui, Hydreigon. You could just nuke stuff with Typhlosion, Asui, basically be a check to, hey, are you playing against Typhlosion, Asui, and then beat them with everything else. That's very similar to how JKG played last season, except didn't have Tailwind and didn't have had redirection instead of Tailwind, and didn't have Sun, and didn't really have a great backbone behind that Typhlosion. This could be a problem for teams, a big problem. So I'm curious on how it's going to work out. I think it is in S tier only because actually, no, I'm not going to put it in S tier. I don't think it improved enough. I'm putting Overwhelming at the top of Overwhelming. atop of overwhelming, simply because that first squad at the front is amazing. Also, you got Shift Tree. Shift Tree's underrated. You get Fake Out. I didn't even think about that. You have so much power up front that you may not even need to get complex with this. Click buttons and you just nuke everything. That's frightening. And you gotta teams are gonna have to play around it. They're gonna have to use their Terra defensively. They're gonna have to do other things. They're gonna make you check basically. Um, so that's where it's gonna be. Top of overwhelming. My team: Gouging Fire, Corviknight, Chenpao, Clefable, Bruxish, Rotom Mo, Dusknoir, Lapras, Malamar, Rhydon, Passimian, and Galarian Weezing. So my thoughts here: the first three are insane, especially Gouging Fire, Chenpao. Corviknight's nice. It's former champion for a reason. It can just resist fairy attacks very well. Got redirection and Clefable. Got a nice grass type with a ground immunity. So it can dish hits nicely, or dish nicely. It gets speed control and set electric terrain if I want it for itself to prevent sleep. Although I don't think I need to because I have Weezing Galar now. But you know, Dusknoir is Trick Room and offers things like Shadow Sneak and Will-O-Wisp, Pain Split, and what's that ghost move? Poltergeist. And Lapras is sneaky good in Tier 4. Has great bulk stats. Has freeze dry. It has sheer cold even. Has life dew. Has perish song. It can be really nasty to face, and especially as a Tier 4, it's pretty good. Malamar can snowball with superpower really well. Rhydon can protect my Corviknight from electric moves. Passimian's defiant. Weezing can set terrain to prevent burns on everything that's physical. That's why I really like this team. Is it covers everything I need it to. I might be able to make improvements through trades, probably by trading Malamar. I'm not sure if I need it for a different Tier 4, but I just don't know. I like where it's at. And especially just Chenpao Gouging Fire being that dang strong, or Chenpao any physical attacker being that strong, can get KOs. Obviously, calcs matter, and I don't really know calcs until I do them, but I'm confident that I can pick up KOs with the best of them and with little repercussions. So I'm going to put myself at the bottom of S tier because I think it's that good, but I don't think it's above the Bullet Punch and especially above the Bewares. There is no D tier team. The only underwhelming team are the Snorlaxes, Altix's team, the Snow team. This is what I think. I think S tier is the Bewares, the Bullet Punch, and the Magnazones. In overwhelming tier, in order, we have the Typhlosions, the Luxrays, the Heatrans, and the Pelipers. In the whelming category, we have the Blazikins, we have the Raging Roars, we have the Blackpool Roses, and the Pollen Puffs. And in the underwhelming tier, we have the Snorlaxes. I think this is as good as it's going to get, even with some of these other picks that haven't been made yet. I don't know if there might be something that can get the Snorlaxes out of underwhelming, but for now, I don't think there's going to be a lot of movement. Most of these are going to be tier 4s. So, yeah, that's where we're sitting with this list. I'm going to quickly see if I can find the other tier list. Ah, there it is. Day 1 tier list. Yes. Let's bring this over. Here's the day 1 tier list. So Bewares are still at the top. I said the Bullet Punch went up a tier, the Typhlosions went down a tier, I went up a tier, and the Pollen Puffs went down a tier. Blazekins and Roars stayed. The Luxrays went down a tier. Oh, and the Blackpool Roses stayed. Heatrans went up 2 tiers, and the Pelipers also went up 3 tiers. So that's a big jump for both of them, the Pelipers and the Heatrans. They did plenty in the draft to help themselves, and really try and make a good team. So yeah, I think this is where we're sitting, and I appreciate you watching. I think this is going to be a good season, and I look forward to seeing what y'all think. All right, have a good one.